The newly appointed CS Treasury, John Mbadi, yesterday he reiterated an embarrassing encounter at the corridors of the International Monetary Fund. And his embarrassment, not only did it come to him alone, but also to the entire African ministers to whom had queued at the IMF corridors for them to access a loan. And this clearly proved to me that slaves shall always die the hard way. And in fact, slaves deserve no dignity.
I wanted to say, which is not in part of my speech, and is in response to what the chairman has said. The first one, Chairman, you're right that I was embarrassed at Washington, not that we were treated badly, Your Excellency. I wanted just to clarify. But you see, when you find African countries queuing in corridor, then you are called one by one. Nigeria, you come, 15, 30 minutes. Rwanda, Kenya, I mean, for those of us who have some pride, it's a bit demeaning. And you see the money that we are asking for out there, Your Excellency, if we just tighten our system, we can do without some of these monies. We can do. Because today, IMF has released 78 billion shillings. But if KRA puts systems in place, we can collect not less than 400 billion shillings. So we can do without some of these loans. But again, Your Excellency, the chairman spoke about staff motivation. And I am aligned as a country. Your Excellency, I promised you when you appointed me that you did not appoint a conman. We will not con Kenyans. We will speak to Kenyans. Where Kenyans feel we need to change, we will change. But let us engage. Again, what I said to my team at the Treasury is I was not, when the President appointed me, he did not appoint a clerk. He appointed someone who would come up with the policies. So policies must be proposed. So those who are opposing policies proposed, you are wrong. Let us engage. Let us discuss. Where you feel we need to change, we will change. We put out a notice asking you to give us proposals.
And you can just imagine at this time and era that we Africans have to go beg the colonizer just for our own survival. And this clearly proves to me that we as Africans really have a very long way to go. I blame none other than we ourselves, simply because why can't our African leaders bring an end to corruption, then seal all loopholes in their governments just for them to utilize the adequate available resources for them to grow themselves economically. In fact, borrowing itself is a true definition of slavery. From where I sit, I strongly believe that why can't these African states form their own monetary fund? Then the body that will be formed, they can use the same body, their own IMF, to lend their self the money and grow themselves economically. Because I strongly believe that is equally very much possible for our own goals and development, instead of our ministers going to queue at the corridors of IMF just for them to be lent some such amount of which, when they seal all the loopholes of corruption, I kid you not, the money that they're going to borrow could be easily raised in their own states. However, listening to John Mbadi's intonation, I can authoritatively say that the guy seemed very much embarrassed. But of course, he needs not to be embarrassed, simply because that is exactly what happens if a nation chooses to be a puppet of the West. Remember, IMF is highly affiliated to the West. And guess what? These are some of the bodies, together with World Bank, that are brought on board just to enable the continuity of slavery. So neither should John Mbadi feel embarrassed. CS Mbadi goes ahead to tell Kenyans that they should tighten their belts simply because what they are going to borrow at the IMF, we can equally raise that through taxes. Is he indirectly telling Kenyans that they are about to hike our taxes? Remember, one thing that I don't understand is why wouldn't the IMF, or why does the IMF have to dictate on Kenya's financial management, knowing pretty well that a section or a vast majority of Kenyans are unemployed? And with just that factor, with just that one factor at hand, I kid you not, we as Kenyans are going to remain slaves to the International Monetary Fund. And before even I come to the penultimate part of this episode, I will just like to utter my one word advice to CS Mbadi. He should just face the humiliation and embarrassment head on. And it should also be made known to him that beggars don't choose. Beggars will always have no choice. They take each and everything that is offered to them, even if the manner that it is offered isn't withstanding. So he should just accept the reality and the facticity of these humiliations that he is facing. But from where I sit, that has just been my opinion. If you do have a contrary opinion to mine, you can as well feel free to drop them in the comment section, and I'll give them a right of reply. And by any chance, if you've been watching my videos and you've not subscribed, you can as well consider hitting on the subscribe button. Thank you, and may God bless you.